Hello and welcome, Sumo fans, to another episode of Inside the Dohyo Sumo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the most special one, of course, Scott Findlay, and no introduction needed for my co-host, but giving him one anyway, as he is more than deserving, the one and only John Traill. John, as always, a pleasure, mate. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thanks. And as Sumo Tori always say, they like to do their own brand of sumo. We know you just love your own brand.
Well, now, Sumo fans, do we have an exciting episode for you today, as we are joined by probably one of, if not the most recognizable, influential, and inspiring men to ever grace the dohyo in sumo's long history. He was breaking down barriers as a foreigner in sumo since the 80s, way before it was the cool thing to do, trailblazing a legendary path for not only himself, but for other foreigners after him, after he fought his way to sumo's second highest rank of O bloody Zeki, winning 3 Makuuchi Yusho, as well as a list of special prizes in his days at the top, opening the door for later men like Akebono and Musashi Maru to rise to Yokozuna, not to mention the Mongolians that came later to obtain that white rope. Between the larger-in-life and legendary status he created on the dohyo and the even bigger one off of it, from TV and movie roles, a music career, touring the globe to educate, entertain, and give a helping hand through his invaluable and generous charity work and tours he does with his lovely wife, bringing joy to many thousands globally. And if you're really lucky, you may get an invite to one of his amazing barbecues. Since he left the clay as a competitor, he has always kept the sumo moving forward attitude, and now once again he comes to inspire and educate with his amazing work he has done with Naro to create a documentary for all of us sumo lovers to learn all the ins and outs of our beloved sport. It's our pleasure to introduce to you the man, the myth, the absolute legend that is the former Ozeki Konishiki. Konishiki, thanks so much for joining us, mate. Welcome. How are you?
That's bloody quite an introduction to actually talk about me.
Well deserved.
It's just incredible. It's amazing how you have made me put me on the mountain of Mount Fuji.
I'm
glad. Thank you for having me, guys. What's up, John? What's up, Scott?
Oh, it's good to see you. I haven't really seen you in person since about 1989.
Yeah, man.
And when you came out, you visited Australia and you gave us the best coaching ever. I thought you said, "Hang on a minute, you guys are crap. Forget about all the fancy throws and the leg trips and stick to the basics," which is why they're basic. They're the fundamentals. They work. You've got to stay down low and push your opponent out.
But it helps you, John.
Leg trips and things.
As you know, John, because you're one of those. I think and there's only few people that fits this hand. Foreigners that really has studied sumo and has kind of looked into sumo the way it should be looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate the love and the people that are willing to try sumo. It's an open door to a lot of big guys that are afraid to even take their shirt off. Like they're putting on this Mawashkins. And it's a step forward. To me, I look at everything as a positive way. And
that's our motto: pants down or piss off.
Yeah, you have the guys who are already kind of so used to it who just put on the mawashi. They don't need their shorts under it. They develop slowly confidence in even looking the part of a sumo, because it's a foreign thing. It's natural in Japan, but not so natural other places. So it's a start, and it's thank IT or thank internet, because during the pandemic, I actually kind of studied how big is sumo around the world amateur wise. I knew there was in Australia and New Zealand because of the amateur stuff we had here, but he went deep. It's all over the place. You have sumo clubs all over the place, and then I kept on watching. Try to stay in touch. When it's needed, I kind of just put some kind of advice, But I first thing, they have to love what they do first, and then if they're really serious about getting to the next level, then I kind of put my 2 cents in it
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So, but the purpose right now is the mission is to actually, with all these lovers like both you, Scott and you are here, just like you guys are lovers. So it's good to get the word out.
Oh,
But I'm ready to
absolutely.
go, man.
Aye.
Ready to go. Whatever questions you have for me, I'm easy.
Yeah.
Aye.
Because
Well,
we've been watching your new channel, and I absolutely love it. The
we Naro.
one-stop sumo shop.
Aye, amazing. Amazing.
And one thing with kata, I always imagined that it was you practicing a different technique, but you've sort of opened my eyes to how those techniques are incorporated into all the movements at the beginning, all the warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And because in sumo you don't actually practice a specific throw like you would in judo or karate. You kind of the oyo kata tells you what style suits you the best, like whether or not you were told to do oshizumo instead of yotsu zumo, and then you work out what's best for you. Why don't they sort of have uchari kata or
But John, the funny thing about it, all these big names that come out of college, the college ranking, they don't do those kata. They don't do that. That's how come a lot of them are hurt earlier, because even like the twisting of the arm, this is to actually bring your, and everything is like from small to big, meaning from small to big, meaning you get into your guy, you pop your arms, you pop your elbows, and you take the guy's weight off, and he stands up. And the other style is shibori. Shibori is when you're coming from the outside, you're locking his elbow in. He has to let go. You can break his elbow, hyperextend his elbow. So this is the two basic stuff we try to teach, and all this stuff have meanings. Everybody don't see it. It's like karate. You have all the kata, and it's all about blocking and hitting, blocking and hitting. Same with sumo. When you're doing this, you actually are getting the guy's arm up, and you breaking this guy's elbow in. You're taking away his momentum, or bringing his weight up so he gets lighter. So all these little things that
we teach the kids. We have to give it names until they learn the terminology. So we call it picking up coconuts, the sumo waltz, the sumo choo-choo train. Where you hold on to the back of each other's mawashi, and that's quite a hard exercise. So we have to adapt it to who we're teaching at the time.
So so all those basic things, actually the first 6 months, you go to those sumo schools, that's all you do. Freaking hours of it. We start like 5:30 in the morning. I remember going to school, and I was living the old arena. I didn't start in the new arena you have today. I started at the old arena. And
Kuramai.
And then it's funny, we was walking Kuramai. I would walk to school like 3:30 after I clean all the freaking 4 floors and wipe it down with hand and clean all the 4 toilets and took all the rubbish out by myself. And then I had to walk to school, and sometimes it was so cold I would put wear my jerseys under my yukata, because nobody was up. You're supposed not be doing that, but nobody was up. And I took a blanket over myself when I walked to school. And when I walked to sumo school, I got in, and then I would actually turn on the heat with the gas heats they had in there, and I would put my wash, because my wash is so wet, sweating from the day before. So I try to dry it up, and I'll fall asleep, and I'll smell something burning, and I look, and my washi would have holes. My first year, my washi, nobody knew I had holes in it from that, because I was drying it.
Are we exclusive for our listeners there?
Yeah.
Well, I heard the Okami-san said you were the best at cleaning the toilet. Something I'm curious about is your nicknames. I'm not sure whether you like them or not, but the dump truck, does that refer to sewage or sand, or sand and rocks?
It's dumping people.
What sort of nicknames sort of annoyed you? Initially, they said Jesse was like the black ship, and you were called a Oh, sorry, you were called the nuclear aircraft carrier, as opposed to a black ship that Jesse was. What sort of nickname did you like the best?
Well, dump truck was the one. The two ones that stuck to my head was a dump truck and a meat bomb.
Aye.
They used to call me. There was a meat bomb too out there somewhere, you know, and in Japan in the newspaper they called me the black ship because they named it after when the U.S. took over Japan.
When they made them open the ports back in the day.
Yeah.
Aye.
It was in the papers here. In fact, my first tournament, second tournament as a Makunuuchi, I was number 6. And because I was like beating everybody at that age, I was only 20. But that was the last Kuramae. And that's when I beat Chono, Fuji, Takano, Sato, Wakashimazu, Monokuni, all these guys.
Right.
Who's who of sumo there?
Yeah, but and that's when sumo was like in its peak with some of the best guys in sumo. Like the whole roster was like men who wanted to kill you, man. And it's funny because no one showed that attitude. But when we went on sumo tours, I just talked about this the other day. The biggest difference is everybody was, hey, konnichiwa, how's that? Shake hands, having dinner together, staying on the same bus. Even doing practices on tours, people was trying to kill each other. You could see it. And I was young, so I didn't understand the Japanese. I didn't really know what the mood was. But because of my senpais, I had Takamiyama, I had Asashio, and I had Fujisakura, who was my senior guys. And they would like force me to go. They go get him. And I'm young, I'm not scared of anybody, even at that age, didn't understand what to expect. I just went for the gusto, man. I used to pop people's faces, hit them in the head. It's practice now. We got to go on the road for 1 whole month, and that's not even, nothing counts now. You can get hurt and you lose it. You lose the opportunity to get in a tournament, then you lose your rank. So it's very risky. But at the time, I wasn't thinking that way. When my senior guys told me to go get them, I had to represent my stable, and I went in, I was pounding people in the face and then you started noticing nobody wanted to practice with me.
I thought initially that you were saying this as a figure of speech, and the more I found out you actually wanted to kill them, you nearly put people in hospital. The one word I just wanted to say was well, you did say that they used to come after you and train with you, which was a real honor. But I would have thought they'd be petrified of getting smashed. So the word that stood out is hageshi, meaning violent. It says everything about it: violent, furious, tempestuous, extreme, intense, fierce, strong, fervent, vehement, incessant, and relentless. I think that describes what your mission was at the time, doesn't it?
Well, John, you got to understand, there's in sumo, everything is by seniority, and there's no way I could get back to these guys. Some of these guys treated me like, like shit, like one of the first stories I have is less than 2 months into my career already, somebody hit me with a beer bottle over my head, and then you can't say nothing. It's like, arigato, kochan desu, it's you have to say thank you. But I'm saying thank you, but in the same time, I'm in my mind, hey, can I swear? You guys,
aye, go for it. Say what you want.
Yeah.
Say what you want.
The thing was like they hit me, but in my mind, I thought, yeah, brother, I'm gonna fuck you up tomorrow morning. So the motivation, they motivate me so much to get up early, and I wanted to kill guys. And I always said this. The only way I can get back to these guys, if I kill them in the ring, it's legal, and that's the motivation. It's in Japan, in Japanese language. It's culturally, you can't really say that. I really don't say that, but now I say it even more because I'm retired and I have a story to tell before leave the earth. But the motivation came from that, and I never walked back from it. And every morning I look forward to practice. I used to sleep. I get up in the morning, I guess because of the stress. I was bleeding. My pillow would be all bloody because I guess from my nose and my throat, I think it was the stress. And even though we practiced at 5:30, I was up 3:30. I was actually ready, sweating, pumped up, even before anybody got in the ring every day. And then and even after retirement, I see some of my OGs. We go out and stuff now. Everybody's married. Everybody's a grandfather. Everybody's father. They always used to tell me, man, we used to be so scared that you look like a freaking boo. Your eyes used to be red shot in practice and stuff. And I told them, yeah, because I wanted to kill everybody. I had no way to get back. And the good thing about sumo, no matter how senior you are, once you beat them by rank, they have to follow you now. They don't want to have to serve you. And that's the best way to, and that's the best advice I give anybody that do anything. It doesn't have to be sports, business, whatever you put yourself in. You got to beat them in the game. If you're in the business, go get a deal that's going to make you fucking rich, or get a deal and make the company make you go higher in the ranks in the business. So there's rules and regulations in everything we do. You just got to take advantage of what's there and just go for the gusto, man.
I find that extremely interesting, especially what you were saying about being on tour and you were getting told off your Oyakata and that, go get them, and you were out there smashing guys and people weren't wanting to practice. A lot of people have heard the stories of guys fearing Asashoru when he was going about stables. So I think that a lot of listeners will find this really interesting, that you were doing it 20 years before him, taking guys' jaws off. Do you know what I mean? And people were fearing to even step in the dohyo with you. And it's a testament to you being able to rise to Ozeki in such a hard time in sumo. And by hard, I mean the level of athletes that were in the top of the game at the time was just out of this world. And it's like something that Katrina Watts had mentioned to us when we sat down with her. She said that the ex-late Naruto Oyakata, he had said to one of his guys, this is why you're doing crap. You don't have the killer instinct like Asashoru. This is why he made it. And it's the same for you as well. You had that absolute killer instinct. You weren't using the fear of being hit or picked on or punished or anything like that as something to be scared and withdraw. You seen it as something to overcome and use as motivation. And see if I can just distill half of that into my own sons. What more can you ask for out them in life? Do you know what I mean? So I find that absolutely amazing. So I do. And I know that our listeners will find that great to hear for you as well. You know what I mean? That you were causing fear in Mawashis back in the day.
Yeah, well, the thing is the competition then was crazy.
It was.
And the lifestyle of the sumo wrestlers was even stricter. You didn't have all this new rules that they have here now, that it's stricter on the boys' lifestyles when they do all this stuff. But you played hard and you trained hard, But the whole thing is about how much balance you can keep within your profession, your skills. It's how much when you come to practice and your mind is clear and you're ready to do everything you can for the day to learn something new and just to better yourself in stuff you're already good at. So the thing is, I talk about this a lot because it's the sport. Your job is your sport, so you gotta find everything you can to have no distraction when you're a professional, no matter what you do. Even what John and Scott, whatever you guys do, you have when you're doing something as your job, nothing can be in the way, because it kind of takes away your level of skills a little. You don't really notice, but sometimes when something bothers you, it's hard to 100% focus and stuff. So for me, being a foreigner, trying to learn the culture at the same time, and going through this seniority thing where you have freaking younger guys telling me what to do at the early ages, and I accepted it. It's a matter of you accepting what you put yourself in. And I always tell anybody, the thing that Japanese always would, I do any interview, they always use the word taihen. Oh, that was hard. So nothing was hard, because I choose to be here. I made the choice to be here. So as long as I'm making a choice, I know I have to go through things that I never thought about, I never dreamt about, but I made the choice. Absolutely. So the biggest thing you can teach your sons is, once they make a choice, it's their responsibility and it's up to them to challenge what they just made a choice for.
Aye.
And that's what
aye.
And that's what I try to teach. Not only through Sumo, I've learned that even more, because being the 18-year-old that came from Hawaii, knowing nothing about the sport and culture. And that's the thing I'm trying to write about in my book is I don't care about what achievements I had in Sumo. It's more about what the hell did I think at 18? Like this dumb freaking kid, like 18 years old, your parents are against you, what you're doing. You can't explain what you're going to be doing. You never done Sumo, never seen Sumo. You see it, think Japan has people jumping from roof to roof. The ninjas are jumping all over the place. In 1982 now, in 1982. So like for me, I've after, because of the pandemic, and I lost my dad 2 years ago, I've kind of calmed myself down to actually ask me the question, what the hell was I thinking at 18? What made me really come? So I'm trying to go backwards and try to see what made me Konishiki, even though I made the choice. So what was the cultures that actually got me to motivate me? And it's a multiple things. And the most thing I talk about is about the 4 cultures that I deal with. I was born in Hawaii, but I'm Samoan 100%.
Right.
My parents are 100% Samoan. So when I left the house, I live in American culture. I go to school, I speak English, wear American clothes. When I came home, I was 100% Samoan. Everything was Samoan language. My parents, our culture in the house was Samoan. Our clothing, our food, everything was Samoan. And then when I came to Japan, same thing happened. Because Japan's culture and Sumo culture is 2 different worlds. Even the Japanese cannot handle Sumo world. I just look at some numbers, like the past 10 to 20 years, over about 7,000 Sumo wrestlers have come to Sumo, professional Sumo. Now you got to think about it. Within 7,000 Sumo wrestlers, less than 1% made it. It's 0.1%. It's 0.1 what percent can make it, because you remember there's only 60 can make it in Sumo as a high rank, as you guys know. So now you think about it. It's harder than a lot of professional sports. We get an opportunity to get to a different league professionally, and the hard thing about it, there's only 1 professional league in the world, which is Sumo here in Japan.
That's just all
one element that they said that you had as soon as you came in, because I think the way to do it is not think about it. Even our friend Minami Noshima from Tonga, he went over in shorts and t-shirt and didn't have. So you had what they call hungry seishin, the hungry spirit that Japanese wrestlers don't have. A lot of them don't seem to have it now, but I think you can only do it if you don't think about what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just take a leap of faith.
It's open mind. You have to, my dad told me when I left, even though they're bored against, one of the things that really stick to me even till today is like, when you go there, you have to be more Japanese than the Japanese. And that is right, because there's nothing westernized about Japan that you can really relate to, anything Western. I was just a pageant judge a couple of days ago. And so I met this camera guy. He was France. And then, he's like saying, oh, Japan is this and so Japan is that. So how long you been living here? So 8 years ago. So what kept you here 8 years? I thought you cannot compare what we do in France or Hawaii or US to what Japan. Japan always going to be Japan. There's things that we are so used to it. But when you come to Japan, it's a foreign country, period. You got to wake up. That's the same thing I took. The funny story when I had these boys from Hawaii join, Koryu, Sunohama, and Nanfu. So they came to Sumo, and I was on a Sumo tour in the summer. So I come back, and they're like, "Ozeki, man, brah, we went to the swimming pool, brah, and there, brah, was nothing but Japanese at the pool." I go, "Wake up, you in Japan." When you live so long, you come to a country, your mind is not clicking. You still think you're in Hawaii at the brother. You're not in Hawaii no more. Majority of the people you see is Japanese. It's obvious.
You actually became you became such an icon that I still suffer from your legacy today. You're such a benchmark and considered to be a stereotype that all the advertisers and marketers want. So whenever they want some sumo talent, and I present my deshi, they go, "Nah, bigger. Nah, we want bigger. Nah, you get us the biggest one you can find." And we like that Hawaiian guy we saw the other day, even though that was a long time ago. And I end up going for my Samoan deshi, who are about 270 kilos. One of them was in the latest Shang-Chi movie in the underground fight scene. He was fantastic. Nobody else could have done it better.
Polynesians.
You became too big for sumo, really.
Polynesians are some of the best bodies. If you can start it, if they can grow into sumo form, then it's good, because you notice their bodies are big, but they're not as flexible as the sumo guys. It's actually, John, if you actually just train these guys, if they just can be patient and do that shiko where their hips break in, big difference. And they can see the form of their body changes. They're going to see that the gluteus maximus looks like sumo wrestlers, and their thighs. And that's one basic exercise. If they can just suck it up and just, start off with 20 a week, then 30, then 50. Because when we used to go to sumo school, we used to do like 1,000, man, every single day. And I don't tell them to do 1,000, but even if you do like 200 a day, your body changes. Even that's why you see they do those morning exercises, Lagio Taisho, they call it here in Japan, where all the workers at all the parks in Japan, they play the radio. There's an exercise time where it's like 20 minutes.
Exercises.
There, everybody radio exercises. It's still in Japan. It was during the wartime and stuff. So people, if you walk in the morning to the parks, there's a radio always playing, and there's people doing sumo squats. And the one most popular Lagio Taisho is the sumo one when they're doing during the summer. People come from all over Japan to participate, hundreds of them, and they're in the front of the sumo arena doing sumo exercises. So that's one of the things I'm trying to talk to some politicians to bring it back to the schools. It's not educate them about sumo, but it actually develop kids stronger bodies.
Right, that's a good idea. That's solid. That is a really good idea. I love that idea.
Because I've been invited to this one buck sumo, which is kids sumo, and you notice the kids that do sumo, and you have kids that do baseball and all the other sports. None of them, even a shape. Like I was talking, like you can see it even at that young age, like up to like 10, 12 years old. You can see it in their rear ends and their legs that the sumo ones are so strong. Even the girls that do sumo, they kick ass. They beat
they're fantastic.
So
that was the other thing I wanted. Sorry. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is that you said that you're talking to the Nihon Sumo Kyokai, but if they don't agree, you'll still go and possibly set up your own Sumo Association. So back in 2009, Akebono came out to our Oceania tournament. He was talking about, he was in talks with Takanohana and a few others to take advantage of the great pool of recently retired Rikishi and globalized sumo a bit more, because, you guys are such warriors. You either have to perform or you can't get time off to get proper medical treatment with injuries and that. So once you're retired, you're back to full form again. So something that's not as tough, like because there are just too many that have had to retire because of freak injuries. Or
it's a hard sport, bro. It's a year-round sport. People that really don't know, they think it's just tournaments. No way. It's 365 days. You're committed to this thing. And the thing is, it's funny you say that. I've been asked a long time ago to start. But for me, we need to educate before we want to kind of move on. And that's the same thing happened with Ghostman. He comes in and tells, I got all this $1 million of people with TV and that.
He doesn't.
I told him in his face, I don't give a fuck what you got. You know,
Yes.
Money is not my purpose. You know,
Yeah.
I have to respect what made me who I am, and if I'm going to
Yeah.
take it to the next, if I'm going to take this anywhere, make sure at least we can get it as close as we can. It cannot be perfect
Yeah.
because because the people we're going to use is not used to the culture,
Mhm.
but I can get it as close as I can. Even my sumo tour that I did 219, people were so impressed because I actually use real ex-sumo guys who were like still kind of ready. Even this next
Yeah.
tour that I'm doing on the West Coast, and people learn from it,
Mhm.
and because I've been asked to do those things for the longest time. In fact, the first one I went to was Andrew in LA. But that's when Andrew just started. And that just happened. I was participating not in his. I just came because I heard about it and I went to see it because I was there for the Japan Festival
Mm.
Yeah.
in
I
LA,
remember.
and that was the first time I saw that. So even even the way Andrew does it, he's just like throwing out there like freaking stereotype, which is it's all good.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna change what he did, but when I come in, you're gonna see a different story. You're gonna see the real deal.
Good, because I
I'm not
watched
trying
it and I thought it was a bit cringeworthy. Like
Aye.
during a bout, they would say, "Come on, make some noise."
Yeah,
Like they won't even let them finish
Aye.
a bout. I
It
think
was
that's a
the
bit disrespectful.
Aye.
it's all cool because he cannot cover that with the real deal. So
Mm.
you have to find
Yeah.
some kind of effect to make it kind of exciting, which is all good to me. You know, I'm just
Fair.
happy that they're trying to do they're doing sumo the way it is. But you can see the lack of interest that grows from one where they started because they have the entertainment. You know,
Mhm.
they go to WWE. You cannot beat WWE the way they produce their
Yeah.
shows and stuff like
Aye.
that. So if he's trying to make something like that, and that's why when my shows are very unique, it's very sudden. It's
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I explain their strong points, their weak points,
Mhm.
and I say, who do you think is going to win? This guy is good at this. This guy is good at that. And don't mistake their body weights or their size because I always explain before the tournament that exhibitions, sumo, there's like 80 something techniques. And the reason why they have all those techniques is because the smaller guy take advantages of most of it. The big guys cannot do a lot of stuff, a lot of those techniques. So that's why you don't have a weight class in professional sumo. So if you go to amateur, there's a weight class in amateur, but in sumo, there's none of them. That's because they're not into the level where they can actually take advantage of the throws, the hits, the kicks that we have in sumo. So for me, John, when you talk about Akibon, I've been thinking about this a long time, and I just did that documentary, The Giants, that released in Europe
We seen that.
last year in summer.
Watched.
So the thing is, all these guys from New York, these directors are some big names now. They're the real deal.
Yeah,
The guys
yeah.
that did Stephen
Aye.
Curry and all those guys. And now they're interested in do like a reality show.
Right.
So what I was trying to do is
Yeah. I heard.
rent out a whole real sumo stable and actually create a sumo stable for only foreigners. And what I wanted to do, John, is reach out and see what I see, and then I'll handpick guys from all over the world to come and actually train sumo, and that's what's going to be the first world-class sumo tournament. So these guys have to kick ass each other, and that's a good thing because basically now they're going to learn how to develop, and that's why it's going to make everybody else want to be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll have a ripple effect. That's absolutely brilliant.
All these guys were just big, and just by looking at the mawashi, John, you gotta go to America, teach these guys even how to put their mawashis on.
Oh no! Oh, it's embarrassing.
Half of these guys get half of their balls hanging out of the damn thing.
I know. Oh, that's if you can see them. But I saw one of the guys get up at the Dohyo Eddie in his dirty tracksuit, and he's got his hands down his pants, and he's making silly faces. Everybody else is ready for battle, and this guy is looking like a homeless man, all feral, and I think because that's what I want to know. How much sort of etiquette and traditions and the rituals of Ama Sumo do you think we should borrow from Ozumo? Because I recently watched, because I'm not sure whether you know, but I'm vice president of the International Sumo Federation, Oceania Continental Director, and president of the Australian Sumo Federation. So I keep an eye on it. I watched the World Games in Alabama.
Yeah,
I
I
watched
saw that.
the European Championships, the US Open. So we had 3 athletes doing backflips after they won, which was before the end of the bout.
Yeah, and I heard about the
one got
they took it away,
disqualified.
right?
They redid it. Yeah, tantrums and coaches going berserk and
that was
police
the guy
getting
from-
involved.
Was it the guy from Egypt?
In the
Osunaarashi
World Games, aye.
was the coach.
Osunaarashi, he's just a dumb fuck. The kid doesn't listen. He's young.
He didn't need to do anything that occasion.
I was just trying to help him, when he was here. So to talk to him, fucking the fame got to his head too early, man, and then he lost it all. Even after he retired, he was getting to fighting. I talked to him, and I thought he would listen, but shit. Once you're not used to handle the fame and the name that comes along with the career, you fuck up, and then when I saw that, because I was reading it, I was kind of watching it, and he's there yelling at the judges. If I was out there, shut the shit up and sit down, brother. You're supposed to be the guy that actually kind of teach the damn thing if you're really serious. And that's the thing I don't like about stuff like that. It's the respect of the sumo. And I said a word. Right. I just did the preview of this, and when I talk about it, I talk about the beauty of sumo, the utsukushi.
Yes,
it's not, and it comes from the respect that we both have. And the question was, why do you guys bow? Why do you guys celebrate? Because we're disrespecting the guy who put all his time to even go against me, and for me to get better, I have to beat this guy. In the next turn, he's going to come and he might beat me. So the respect is very important in sumo. And so the ones that actually take advantage of this teaching are the ones that are very successful after their sumo careers. I know guys who never even made it to Sandame. I know a guy who lives in Kagoshima. I just came from Kagoshima. He's my senpai. John, he only made it to Jodinan. But the discipline they learn, the mind strength they learn from sumo, because of sumo. This guy has 2 hotels. He has 2 of the biggest, most well-known freaking restaurants in Kagoshima. I know a kid when he made it to Makusta, he owns a golf course. They're not inheriting anything. It's just from hard work. And one of my boys who used to be my servant, when he went up to Sandame, this kid went, and I know they're gonna do good. He left. In 5 years, he had a building. Because we know how to, we can sleep anywhere. We can work all night. We can sleep 2 hours and get up and go. Because if you're doing sumo and you join at 15, 10 years later, you're only 25. You still have youth.
Yeah.
And these guys got energy. And they got like what we got, gaman. They can actually take anything. Because being in sumo is the hardest thing. You have somebody yelling at you and kicking your ass every single day for 10 years. Then you go to the real world, you think all these bosses yell at you and like it affects you.
Yeah,
it doesn't affect at all. There's no affection.
Yeah.
So my thing is, it not only helps you on the ring, but when you leave, it's been proven. And the majority of these kids do good, and I thank God because internet, because I've connected with all these guys. We've been connected so much, and I don't even know, a lot of these guys are younger than me, and they're from different stables. But I make the time. They call me up when I'm traveling all over Japan. They call me up. I'm in this area. Can I come and see you? They connect me through Facebook or something, and I meet up with these people. And the one thing that they all have, they have so much pride. They're so happy they were sumoists, even though they didn't make it into the top ranks. But some of these guys are so successful in their businesses, like and that's proved something, because it's the discipline you get from sumo. And then the thing is, that's who Nike should sponsor, because just do it. That's how we are. Shut up and work.
Because one thing one thing I ask my sumo tori mates is what sort of defines them and allows them to take on any challenge is they hate it, but it's the kawaii gari, the tough love that's dealt out. Once you've experienced that and you come off the dohyo bleeding and you're like a cutlet covered in breadcrumbs, but it's all dirt and blood. Nothing else matters after that.
Point. That's a good point, John, because the kawagari, they don't really realize it. It's not the physical part that you're gonna last you forever. It's the mental part. It's the heart that's gonna help you even after you leave sumo. It's the mental part, making you force yourself to go to the next one. Even though you can't go, you have to push yourself. It's all about how much you want it, how much, Chiyono Fuji said something really, really amazing early in my career. He said, you got to learn how to beat yourself up. When he said, in Japanese, he said, Jibu no karara o ijimenai to dame. That means karara ijimeta. It means you have to bully yourself. Bully yourself. Because if you can handle the bullying of yourself, people that bully you won't even affect you, and you have to be strong-minded to do that stuff because, that's too hard. A little harder. No, I can't go hard. It's painful. Yeah. It's not easy. But if you can understand why, and the thing I always tell the boys in sumo, even when I go to Musashi Maru's stable, and you got to watch their training. Their training is one of the best I know right now in any stable. If you go there and, and I always tell the boys, bro, when you guys walk into here and all this freaking hardship, this bleeding, this sweating, when the day you really felt like, man, I love what I just did, even though all the sweat and all the huffing and puffing, I love. Once you love the struggle, you've made it, no matter what. Once you learn how to love the struggle that you go through, you've made it because you know how to work. And that's the most important thing of anything you do. The outcome will come, but learning how to walk on the trails of being aggressive and being strong, you have to understand it doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of ass kicking,
Aye. Well, those times when the training was hardest, they're my fondest memories of sumo, where you can barely see, your legs are wobbly, you can hardly breathe, and you keep getting up and keep coming back for more until you can barely get up anymore. And then it's so much fun to count your scratches in the bath afterwards and then have a nice feast like the Vikings in Valhalla.
Yeah. I remember it was worse then because it used to shove freaking dirt in your mouth. It used to shove salt in your mouth. Like you laying down and once you make in sumo, once you make sound out of your mouth with your huffing and puffing, they come around with freaking dirt from the ground and shove it in your mouth, and you still puffing, bring salt, shove it in your mouth. So you have to hurry up and get up.
So how much?
Go ahead.
Well, how much tough love did you give out? Did you? How many times did you say this is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt me?
Well, I trained the shit out of Akebono all the time, and then this kid named Nankai-ryu. All my boys that I trained, I made it work, and that's tough love. And I'm glad because the majority of them that I work with, even my little young brothers that I trained their asses, the skinny ones, I used to go out at night with people, supporters, and then I would come back with bags of freaking McDonald's, or I buy beer and I had protein. I would mix it. I wake them up late in the night. I'll make them eat like 10 burgers just to gain weight, and I'll mix their protein with beer, and then make them drink it. Some of these kids, they made it, and I was so glad we stayed, in touch and stuff, and they're all doing pretty good. But yeah, it's part of it's everything, man. If you have a small body, you have to gain the weight, which is another headache. If you don't have an appetite, then you kind of got to force the thing down,
Aye. And that can turn into quite a brutal, a pretty strenuous situation. I've heard a lot of stories for guys having to force feed, or maybe in particular not liking certain foods as well. And that might be some of the main products that are used in the hair. So it's really, you've got to, that reminds me while I'm saying this or as Katrina once told us, even some guys who might have some religious values that go to sumo, some of them got the advice that is basically said, keep your religion in your heart and just go with whatever sumo does, because that is the best thing to do. And that is obviously coincides with what you were saying earlier about being in that life and adapting to the Japanese style and the sumo style of the way of living. Definitely.
Exactly.
Aye.
Exactly.
Aye.
That's very true. You just gotta adapt to the environment, man. No matter where you go in this world. And the story is not a new story. Wherever you go, and people who are successful because they've learned how to adapt and accept the cultures around them.
Aye. I'm trying to instill that into my oldest son right now. He's showing some interest in sumo and he's wanting to compete. I'm taking him to Switzerland later this year to compete. And we're going other places, and he's been talking about going to Japan, and just wanting to see and investigate. And I've been trying to instill in him, like, you need to realize how hard this lifestyle is, like what sort of mental capacity and what sort of strength and resolve it takes to be able to survive in this sort of lifestyle. Even in this day and age, in your day when you were coming up, it was 10 times harder for you guys than it is for the guys these days with these new rules and implications that happen. But even now, it is one of the hardest things that you could do to reach at any point in any sport, or it's one of the hardest cultures to become party. So is he trying to sink that into a 16-year-old's head? He thinks as long as all he needs to do is be able to perform well in the dohyo, do you know what I mean? But it's so much more than that. And then that also brings me back to the point that I try and make to some sumo fans who might agree that it's okay to do backflips after you've just won a match or things like that. It's really not, because this isn't just a sport. It is a culture, and an ancient culture at that. And there's a lot of levels of respect that should be had. And if you can't respect that, then that is an issue with you, not everybody else. That's a you problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, Scott, you got to remember, whoever organizing this events or these tournaments, they have to make sure every single person understands the rules.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
they basically have to lay the rules down. I don't think they take enough time to even basically make sure they know how to, like, when they step on the ring, from all the little details that I don't think they put their minds there, because like you said, like the 16-year-old said, all I have to do is wrestle. All I have to do is wrestle. But they're forgetting the beauty of all this thing is actually the ceremonial part of it. The dignity, the respect you have when you step onto the ring is something that people can hook on. And that's why I think these tours I've been doing in the US is so successful, because people are tired of all the showmanship. Reality TV. No, you don't even have to be. You don't even have to have skills to be popular in the world today. As long as you have a million hits and then doing something stupid, licking a car or fucking become popular in the world.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm telling you.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. The majority of the normal person out there is more laid back. They're working hard. They have a good life. They just need something that's educational and entertaining at the same time. They don't need anybody throwing their booties or shaking their booties in their face to entertain them anymore. You have it everywhere. But you have this grown man with significant talent and abilities to do stuff that the regular person cannot do. It's a mind blower. You pick up your feet, you leave it up there, and you balance. You're almost like 400 pounds, and you can do it. I've hosted some of the best athletes in the world, from NFL to UFC to surfers to skateboarders, you name it. NBA basketball players, PGA golf. They all talk about balance.
They can't even touch their toes. They're so inflexible, aren't
they? Somebody like Tyson, who's one of the best fighters that I know and great man, but even he couldn't sit on the floor. That's how tight they are. But again, they don't need that for their sport, which is all cool. But if they see what a big person, the image of a big person across the sea, and if they bring that image here and they see a big guy in sumo, they bring the same image, they all get blown away. They see how the hell can they get into a split? How the hell can they be on their feet even 4 to 5 hours training every morning? You got to think about it. These guys are like average 350 to like 500 something pounds, you know, and just take the time. So I guess the people that find interest in the tours we've been doing is people like that.
Aye.
They see the interest in the culture.
Aye.
And
Absolutely.
why it is the way it is.
Aye.
So if I'm sitting there commentating and actually explaining in detail a lifestyle of a whole day of a sumo wrestler, the different ranks, the different clothing, the way they are treated in public, and the way they're getting paid, and why is sumo so popular among Japanese culture and stuff like that, why, some of the reasons because we're like lucky charms. People that actually support sumo wrestlers, they think it's like a culture to them. If I can support a sumo wrestlers, it helps their businesses to be successful. And that's why you have in sumo, having all the biggest names, companies, always supporting some kind of sumo wrestler or sumo stable, which is needed because we're not paid millions and millions like how other sports is. Then again, why do you do it then? Well, the thing is, to make it is like freaking, you tell yourself, man, I made it. You really made it because only 60 of you can make it. And that's only just part of the journey. Now you're going to have to find a way to stay there because everybody's pulling your pants down every time you're going up.
Absolutely.
And they have to pull your pants down for them to get up there because there's no room. There's only 60 slots. Nothing more than that.
Right. So true. So true.
Well, that brings me to the we've discussed how you get there, but the sort of icing on the cake is becoming Yokozuna. What do you think of Hinhaku? Is it real? Is it bullshit? Is it only for Japanese rikishi, or is it just kind of a hoax that they put up as a barrier when foreigners are so good? The Hinhaku. When they talk about the grace, elegance, and refinement.
Well, they tried to use it against me, and that was the last time they tried to use it. They had no choice. Yeah. They had no choice after. We had the freaking the kings from Hawaii punish that right away after they did it to me. And there's no actually basic meaning. It's not really like the association. People, and the other thing people got to understand, the association is like a non-profit organization. It's actually controlled by the government, and they listen to whatever the government tells them. So even you have the Yokozuna board, they're all freaking these guys who are ready to fall down the stairs, like
they're
real gunko, like they're real like old-fashioned, like it has to be this way, this way, this way. But shit, before even I came to sumo, you guys already were changing. It's just the matter if you like it or not. So it's all cool, that's gonna change, and it's changing really rapidly. And now I've seen a big change during this pandemic with how they're doing things now. The business size, I see them making sandwiches, they're making ramen, and all this. They didn't do that because they weren't allowed. They cannot turn sumo into a business and stuff. So you can see that changing a little, hoping for the best. I've been bugging them like 8 years ago. Give me an opportunity to be you guys' PR person. I can make sure we have quality shit. Wow, it's so embarrassing the shit they do. I always like, I always comment like, man, freaking guys put more energy in like showing off of what is a curry rice and all that shit. You're starting the developing of the young generation, in sumo. You're fucking wasting time, I get so pissed off, and and I like sitting there like, I'm still good friends with most of them. The number one, number two guys I really close to. Kirishima, I was just in his restaurant a couple of days ago, and Lijo Hokutomi is the same time I joined the Yokozuna, now the top, and he actually sneaked into my my 40th anniversary that I had, and he did the kampai. He did the cheers kampai ices for my party and stuff. So
nice.
He listens to me, but I guess he has a wall that he has to deal with other guys in there who just, they're about the lazy fuckers who don't want to do shit. They want you know, when you're sitting there and getting a paycheck for doing shit, then you do shit, you know, man.
Yeah.
Like they
I
don't know
was
how to
learning a bit about
I don't know.
him through Hoshiyakari from Mongolia, who was his deshi. So Hakaku, he tells me a bit about how he runs it. It almost sounds like a Yakuza boss.
Well, that's what
He's got a bit of control.
well, that's the image that we have, and then and everything like that's a typical Japanese culture, because the respect, and then the boss is everything, you know, and that's how the business is run. But it's rapidly changing. Everybody's getting Western style world now, you know, with all the young people don't even care about what they got to offer. You just go to their phones and buy a couple of stocks or buy Bitcoin and, you know, do Yahoo or do Lockten or do Google and find businesses there where they can make like $100 a day, and they're good with that. You know, cup ramen is their lifestyle.
Yes.
So, you know, everything about the world, not only Japan, but the way they look at things is so different. So it's so important for people who raise their families and kids to make them understand, you know, Takachi, that their lives worth more than what they see, you know what I mean? And the respect that they have to keep within their families and stuff. Family is everything, you know, no matter what they have out there. It's just a harder work for a dad and a mom to keep it together, man, because they got so much information outside of at the palm of their hand. Like, you know, sometimes there's no way you can control that unless you take your phone and break it and something. But, you know, that's going to, all hell is going to break loose with your sons or daughters.
I'm doing that at the moment.
You're absolutely spot on again. I literally had that conversation with my son within the last 48 hours, and I keep bringing my son up because my oldest son is where I'm having the parenting problems right now, obviously with him being 16. But I was literally just 2 days ago trying to tell him that he was worth so much more than what he's doing right now and what he's trying to do, and he could do more. And because it seemed like he was okay with settling, starting to be okay with settling, and I'm trying to get through to him that he's worth so much more. And it is this day and age.
What he needs to do is just give him a challenge, give him something, a project that you want to do but you can't do it. Just play it off, and, you know, give him something that you want to do that you don't have the time but you think he can do. You know what I mean? Find something that kind of relates to both men already, you know, in his head.
Yeah.
It might be a kid, but already he feels like he has that power to step out of the door and, you know, just give him like a few.
I've threatened to put my son into a sumo bear if they'll have him. He'll be 15 on Christmas Day.
But even that,
he doesn't keep it up.
Just participate in group as a sumo thing. It actually helps the minds, you know, and then it's some kind of what you call this. Always they're gonna have to do that in the real world. If you don't own your company, you're going to have to answer to somebody. You have to get up and drive to somebody's office or somebody's factory to work. So if you don't like all that shit, what you're doing now, if you don't like what you're hearing now, brother, you better be educated enough, work hard enough to actually pay your own bills, have your own company, so you can do everything you want.
Exactly.
But at the same time, starting a company is the easiest thing, but holding on your company is the hardest.
It definitely is. You're absolutely right.
And then you become unemployable. I like working for myself, and then it forces you not to ever.
And then you're the one that has to sacrifice everything, because at the end of the day, you're the one, you own the company, so you're the last to get paid, man. You got to make sure everybody that you invite to your company will help you, you know, give them the opportunity. You go ahead and try something. Let's see how far you go. You know, and that's the way you do it. Or, you know, if you want the challenge, right there, boy, that's the door right there. I can help you. I'll give you a few $100, but nothing more, man. You know, let's see how fast you can get rid of that and add up or you subtract, whatever it is. It's really up to you. It's more that way, you know. I think they have enough information to survive, you know.
Right.
But to be successful and survive is two different things. So.
It absolutely is. Yep. I'm hoping I'm practicing a bit of sumo now, and that'll help him. And he seems to be really enjoying it, as I was mentioning to you, because I've started Scotland's first ever sumo club right now. And I'm just getting that going. I've been training obviously with the British sumo president and a couple of the guys here. I've been competing in Britain, and I've started that now, and I've got my son and a couple of his friends training with me because I'm trying to help them get on the straight and narrow. And so far it's been working, but we're only a couple of months in, so time will tell. It's early doors yet.
Well, hopefully this year is coming to an end. I really after this tour, I was thinking of even the US on this tour. Once I can actually advertise the whole tour, make some workshops out in the US to invite as much as I can to come and, you know, get a workout. And because I'm going to have six ex-professional sumo wrestlers with me anyway, and they're all in shape too. They're like some guys just retired not too long ago, and they're all in shape and they're ready to can train people, you know, really well. So I was thinking that, and maybe sometime in the future, doing something in Australia and Europe, do like a workshop tour all over the world, or meet up somewhere.
I've got a dojo in the garden, so you're welcome to come anytime.
It's perfect.
One thing I wanted to ask you about was how can sumo fans get the most out of sumo? Because they're a pretty superficial bunch. A lot of people, they're only seeing a few seconds on YouTube, and they only see the psych up, the shikiri no oshi, the tachi-ai, and then they think they know what's going on inside Rikshi's head. And so if they see like aggressive sumo, or kachiage, forearm blast, or dame oshi, the extra push, then they decide that Rikshi's a villain. How do you think fans can get the most out of what they're actually seeing?
Well, the thing is, if you can watch a real tournament and try to figure things out, because they don't explain it in details what kind of technique they're doing and stuff. If you understand Japanese, you kind of know what watanage and all that kachiage. Kachiage is a whole. It's actually a technique. I use it a lot.
Yeah,
I use it to lift. I use it to lift people's heads up so I can pound with my right hand. I used to do it with my. I think it was with my right. I used to pop back that way. So I used to lift the chin and hit it with my left arm. So it's a technique, and it's a very dangerous technique, not for the guy who's dishing it, but for your opponent to get in you. Because once you go this, what you just did is you just open up. Yeah, you open up right to your belt, and that's the thing I used to screw up with Chono Fuji. Is when I went up, he already got into me with his left. It was too late to do anything, and he would just come to a twist. He gets so lower under me that he will actually get under my belt so quick, and from there he can twist anywhere. Right. Even a 600-pounder, like 500-pounder like me, I go rolling in a second because of the technique. So everything to look at, there's always a counter to every technique that we do. Hopefully the next master class we can go more in details about techniques and stuff like that.
I can't wait for that.
I was so excited.
Basically, if you don't go through the basics first, it's hard for you to do everything else and stuff. So, there's not too many channels on YouTube actually explain sumo as good as it should be. So more interesting and stuff.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump in here, sorry, and interrupt you, but see the work that you just recently done with those videos with Naro. That is something that, anyone who's starting a sumo club, who you might not be the most experienced person or limited experience, I think that should be like 101 of being an amateur sumo coach. Show that, invest in that, and show your class that, show your guys that, because that, let's see, when I was watching it, it taught me so much about what I thought I knew about and all. Does that make sense? Like, I thought I knew, but I only knew the surface. I wasn't looking under the water at all. And then you were like, no, and you dipped my head in and made me look under the water. And I was like, oh man, this will sink into even stupid people will be able to take this in easily. That's what I was saying to John. Like, even guys whose brain might not be turned on that day can easily take this in, and it will give them a brand new understanding of the sport and culture and give you an extra head start on the journey that you're trying to take in amateur sumo. So I honestly think that should be something. So if you're talking about doing more parts to that, explaining more about technique, I mean, that's just gold for all of us guys that are not only sumo fans, but trying to participate in the sport as well. Absolutely amazing.
It's a very good. This is one of the first projects that I really finally found some partners who were interested in actually doing it right. And a lot of stuff I've done, I've worked with a lot of people, but never done it because it wasn't in their interest to see what was real. It's to them, it was just like, we just want you to do this and do that. So, bro, it's not that just do this, do that. If I'm educating people, I gotta have to at least some. I'm an ex-Sumo. I cannot bullshit this stuff. I all look stupid, you know.
Right.
So that's the way we looked upon that, and it teaches you so much. Even there's already some techniques you already have that you can. There's enough already there because you cannot do all the techniques anyway. Nobody in sumo has done every single technique during their career.
True.
You have to find a technique that fits your body style, fits your speed, and fits your strength.
Right.
And you can take advantage of that. And basically what you saw in that Naro thing is it teaches you a lot of that already and stuff. Right. Before you want to learn all the other different techniques, if like somebody like me and John, we're bigger people, if we're very offensive with our techniques, like boom, hit, you have no time to do your technique anyway.
Right.
If we can get
I can't wait.
John, but you know, my
can't wait
technique
until you show us.
But my technique was during my career. People ask me, "Do you watch videos of your sumo?" I don't know. I don't. I tell why? Because if I do 100% of my style of sumo, nobody can beat me. Because my style is I don't give you time to even do anything. If I pop you right, I hit you right at the tachi eye, and I get under you, and I hit you hard enough, and if my feet is good, I don't have to learn what you have because you don't have time to do whatever you have, and that's my technique.
Right.
So the counterpart is these guys will make me look so good that they'll take the hit so good that they will go flying back. Like Chono Fuji was good at that. This guy named Akino Shima was good at that. And you think you're winning. Like they take the hit so good and they slide. They take the slide and they hit the rope. Boom, they hit the rope and they like make this move. But their bodies are still under their feet, meaning they're still in a breakdown position where all their strength is still in their legs. So they make you think like you're going, boom, they flip the shit out of you, man. I hate it. One of the guys that I thought I'm really close. I'm like his godfather to his daughters is Hoktenyu, one of the Ozekis.
Oh yeah,
right.
If you go back and look for videos of us, I hated that guy. I tell you, I will pop the shit out of him. Boom. And I think I'm getting it. And if you look like every match that I lost to him, this guy, it seems like he knew something that I didn't know, which was true. I didn't know shit. I didn't know that he was actually baiting me to do what I was doing.
Right.
And I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then at the end, he would actually take the whole ring. He would hang on the ropes and he would get to his left army too, which was real good. Watanage. Boom, at the end. Bang! Almost every match I lost to him was the same damn place I lost to. Same area, same like corner. And he was like, I was thinking, how the hell can he do that? I feel like I got him. Every time I lost the way I lost to him that time. Every time I thought I got him. But after looking back, I take my time and looking back. This guy was actually, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was actually baiting the shit out of me to get me to where I was, you know. And like
I can't wait until you show us how to deal with little guys. I'm the only one in the world to fight in every weight division twice, so sometimes I'm conflicted between doing big man sumo or little man sumo. But you said you hated the little fighting the little guys, didn't you?
when your feet is good, then it's all it is you have to just like shadow your guy, the small guy. And the thing is, all you have to do is cramp down, and then keep. It's like boxing. you try to corner the guy. So, but the sumo is round. So the thing is, you give him you try to make him move to a part where you can actually corner him in an area. Because most of the time he'll be running. But the thing is, you have to hit him right because they're so light. My thing was when my touch, I knew when the guy running, my feet was good. I would love the guy to run because my feet was good. I could sense it, I could see it. I'll take a step and boom, all you have to do is hit it. Because they're lighter when you have to step away from it. You know what I mean? When you step away, they actually bring it back. So if you hit them right in the chest, don't hit them in the face because they'll just do this and they'll come back. You have to hit them in the chest. And then they can fly off easily because their weight is off their feet anyway.
Right.
So it's about timing and, hitting at the right place and stuff. When I was at my peak, none of the small guys, I really didn't have a hard time with the small guys. When I started getting hurt, they started doing all this maneuvering on me and stuff.
That's right.
All the kicking.
I like the way you finish off with the palm in the face. That's one of my signature moves. You slide your hand up.
I think that's what Akinoshima, which is Akinoshima actually beat me more than I beat him. And he's a hard guy to wrestle because he's so low. He never comes up. He never brings his chins up, so it's hard to spotty him.
Right.
But the trick was, I would put my fingers like this, and when I touch it, I would fake going in, but I would stick my hand right into his armpit. Boom! Once you get in him, it's easy. But you cannot do this too because he sees it, and he would actually catch your elbow and keep you in this way, so you couldn't get in. So the trick was from here, you go straight to, you poke your hand into his armpit. And that's the only way. When I did that, I won easy.
Fair enough.
See, Scott, you're learning something already.
I see. I'm intently listening. I'm definitely.
There's a pressure point. There's a pressure point underneath the armpit. I remember Takanohana's father was an expert. You just shove your thumb in, and you're literally lifting them up and pivoting. I forget the name of that move, but I love it
because you actually see you use this to pin. And then once you do this, he lets go, then your hand just push up.
See, because I'm so light, I've never really done pushing style much. I do it against guys that are my size. But obviously with me being so light and I've got long arms and big hands, so I just try and get the hands on the belt and the inside, stick to their leg and then use judo to trip them up. That's usually my go-to weapon anyway. Grip and trip, that's what I call it.
Both John and Scott, you guys give me a couple hours with you to train you and just to teach you a few things and just watch what you do. I tell you, you turn some heads easily.
Anytime.
There's some things that you guys already have that you're just not using it. And the thing is, Scott, being aggressive makes you a better person. Don't try to go to throws or anything. The thing is, take away the gravity. Think about taking away the gravity.
Right.
Meaning, once you get into the thing is, Chonobuchi was good at. He was smart. He was smaller than everybody. But you know what he was good at? He took away my gravity. Because he came in with his left. Boom! Once he grabbed it, he was here already. He had his body stuck to mine. So no matter what I do, I couldn't get to anything. If I try to get under it, he rip it off. When I go over it, he make me stand up even more. So that's the side you have to think. And the thing is, you have to break down. It's like, don't want to say it, but it's like when you're screwing a girl. You got to put your hips in. Once you get that, it's boom, get the hips in. They can't do nothing. The only thing they're going to try to do is try to throw you. But once you in there and the guy has a leg in between your legs, you can go either way. You can actually lift him up, go this way, or you can flip him backwards if you have to trip him with your leg. And the thing is to bring him up before you do anything. Don't rush it because you're always leaning forward. Don't lean forward. You got to pull him towards you. You get under it. And from here, you can do all kind of stuff. Because the thing is, he cannot be defensive the way he wants to. He's only going to try to be offensive by trying to throw you over, which gives you an advantage. When he try to throw you over, you just whip your arm over, he falls. And if he tries to pull you back, you just use your knee, you block his legs, and then you push him over backwards. It's a lot of stuff, man.
Aye. See, I'm
John's
okay.
style is more like once you get in, it just lift the guy, man. And every time the guy try to go left or right, you push into his elbow.
Aye.
No matter what. That's what I try to teach the guys at Spuddy. You push into their elbows because they're gonna have to let go and not only push in but push up, catch their elbow, hyperextend.
Aye.
And then your empty hand hit him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you start to get the guy higher.
Aye.
You know.
Aye.
So it's just the little things. You're actually doing stuff. You just gotta understand your strength. You're just adding to what you're doing already.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for the advice. And I have it recorded so I can check back on this and double check that later.
you can triple check and triple double check, brother.
Just one session of proper coaching is worth a year outside on a soft little dohyo where a lot of the guys look like they're doing cosplay. They're posing for silly photos afterwards, and you're not seeing the blood, sweat, and tears as you were saying that a lot of the European guys are.
No, just basics, man. If they can just break their bodies in so the body can get used to the techniques that they're trying to do, they'll find out they'll be stronger and be more flexible.
Yeah.
You know, and all this flexibility that comes with sumo actually it prevents injuries too. You know, you got to think about it. We do contact sport, and we do it like 6 times major tournaments a year, and then we go on tours trying to kill each other. Then we come back to our stables, we practice with each other. There's no other sport that does so much contacts. That's why we're after our careers, our bodies hurt. You know, I got bad shoulders. I got, you know, everything hurts. You know, I got to live on painkillers after my career and stuff. So, you know, that's life, man. You know, the choices that I made to do and to be what I am today I'm glad I did it, even though you've come with the pain after.
No regrets.
After the career. Yeah, you know.
Regrets.
No regrets at all. I'm just happy that I found another vehicle to actually you know, like I said earlier in the interview, my mission is to actually, now we have the interests of sumo all over the world, is if I can reach out and make them understand how to go about it, you know, and be better at it, and understand why we do the things we do. I think as a guy who's turning 60 next year, you know, my mission is to do that, you know.
Well, that's amazing. And I would, just so you know, you're always welcome in the UK and your advice is always valued here. So we're ears and eyes open anytime for you, honestly. Happy to take any advice. And I'm sure John would say the same for the whole of Australia. Advice and education on sumo for you is invaluable and something that you can't really get, because there is so few people who got as high as you in the sumo world who can speak English basically and lives in the Western world and can be involved in that way. There isn't many. Do you know what I mean? You are really the main one and one of the only ones, I think, now. So it is an amazing thing what you're doing, and we all do appreciate it so much. It's brilliant, and I'm looking forward to your next Naro project now as well. Getting into more detail about the technique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right,
well,
definitely.
you know, you guys gonna be part of the journey, because I'm gonna reach out. You know, we need a bunch of guys who are really interested actually doing it right. You know, I'm not
absolutely.
If it becomes a business, it becomes a business, but that's not my mission. My mission is to get as much guys who are interested, make it work. I even when it gets settled, I actually would lay back and actually give it to the next group of guys who are retired from sumo, make them go out, give them jobs where they actually can actually go teach the sumo culture and stuff. So my goal is to have something left behind when the calling comes, you know. But you know, Europe is funny. UK is very sumo popular at the same time. You know, I hope, you know, you have the Queen's funeral going on, but I had an opportunity to host Lady Diana and when she was married in Japan. In fact, Prince Charles' brother, I met him in Dubai, and his bodyguard was a big fan of mine, and I didn't know. And they were like, we're invited by the King of Dubai many years ago. And I was there in Dubai, and then he's like, "Hey, you're Konishiki. I came and watched you at the Albert Hall, you know." And then So, stuff like that, I know sumo because of the internet has got to a different level. John would know. I've known John for a while now. And compared to those days, even now, you only had a few like crazy foreigners when you do sumo. Had John and John Gunnings, and then we had this guy in Israel, Kintamayama.
He's the best, isn't he? Love him. He's such a cool guy.
He was born in Japan, that's why. And then I even went to Israel. We did something together in Israel and stuff in Jerusalem. And then who else it was? And there was a girl who actually was here she was living in Hawaii here. She wrote a book. Her name is Mina Hall.
Oh, Mina Hall, yeah.
She was like my sister, and she had access to all the sumo. I used to take her wherever I was, even the exhibitions, the sumo stables, the eating and everything. So she learned so much from it. She see it for her own eyes. So, and so not too many. And then Australia's greatest. My sister over there, she's another.
Yeah,
she's
a magical person.
Yeah, she has depth, and then she's been there too, and she's been like inside, the sumo ones.
Katrina.
Katrina. So there's not much of that foreign interest that knows sumo as much as the group of guys that I just named and stuff and stuff. So important to get information and stuff. I was getting bugged by this guy from Canada, like, we have investors and everything, but that's not my mission. We have to create the talent. That's why I was talking about the reality show would be a great platform to start training guys, and learning the rule. And then that way we can actually take this tour all over the world and actually make start a world-class Sumo Association within the professional league. So what we do now is we pulling from all the amateur guys, but they have to like anything else, they have to fight a way to prove that they can belong in this pro league. You know what I mean? That way the level is the quality and level, and the rules are very well known before you step. We're not in a rush, John. We have our whole life to make this happen. So it's not like I want to make this happen in 2 years or 3 years. I like gradually build the talent, and as it gets public, you can see younger generations are getting interested. So the younger they are, the more teaching we can teach. You know what I mean? Basically.
Well, there are so few opportunities to make money outside of in sumo outside of Japan. Poor Yamamoto Yama can only get shot in the head so many times by John Wick, and there's a lot of advertising and things, but I mean it's not always enough to make a living.
Yeah, but the thing is that the thing I hate about Yamamoto Yama is he don't have the balls to make it right. He's a puppet to that Andrew guy.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah.
So it's sad because that kid knows sumo.
Yeah, he does.
And once you get caught up in that shit, it's no good because you're not representing what it should be. It's sad because he come from amateur sumo to professional, so he kind of know both worlds. And I don't know if Andrew gave him the opportunity to actually make him one of the advisors or help him to develop all that shit, but it seems not, because you have freaking Andrew trying to be more popular than everybody else. He's always in the middle of every fucking picture and every fucking shit he do.
I know. he's very melancholy, or not melancholy, sort of uncharismatic as an MC, trying to make it like WWE.
If you look at my exhibition, I'm not even in the front of the crowd. I sit inside the crowd and I use a mic to actually explain everything. And I like the sumo wrestlers be the stars. And I make the platform where they get the message out. And as long as I can explain exactly what's going on, that's my job right there. And the job is to actually make people understand and love it even more. And the request we had after, actually, I haven't put it down yet, but actually that tour in the US, I come back, they want us in Saudi Arabia now.
All right.
All over the world, I've been getting requests. I thought, slow down, guys. It's not like what you guys think. If you're watching amateur shit, some of these tournaments you see on amateur YouTube, it's not that. There's one video you guys got to see, the one I did, and if you guys are interested in something like that, then I'm good. But they're trying to get big guys and flopping all the damn place and getting slammed to the ground. It's not WWE. It's
exactly.
I told one of the guys, I think I forgot his name, but they inboxed me. Oh, we really want to invite you and all this, and that's the guy he's very well-known amateur. He's with Andrew, the white boy that got really slammed by that Mongolian guy. Got picked up and
Kelly, yeah.
Kelly. It's all cool, but I said, bro, I cannot participate in something that you guys make like it's professional wrestling, and then you get slammed. And
I know. A bit melodramatic.
You make it so fucking dramatic. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's why they asked me to do something that I cannot work with you guys. You guys already got it too far the way you wanted to.
You're a smart man.
And my final word is always, it's my way or no way, because I'm the only real deal. You telling me what to do. You telling me how to do sumo. I'm the one that do sumo.
I love it.
Fuck that. I don't want to have to sweat. I don't want to have to bust my knees. I don't want to have to broke my fingers. I don't want to have to broke my shoulder to be where I'm at today. You guys didn't do that.
Preach, Ozeki. Preach. Aye. Damn right.
What are you going to put on your tombstone? I'm nobody's bitch. What would you like as your epitaph?
Real simple, John. I'm just going, I am sumo.
Yeah.
Aye.
You are.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we've got a little bit of a treat for you. It's something new that we've come up with, rather than sort of long questions and that. It's a Harite questions. So I've got about 20 short, fast questions where you just choose an answer. If you want to come back to any, we will, if there's anything you want. So are you ready for the a bit of sapati, a bit of Harite? So
I'm ready for the spotty, brother. I'm ready for that spotty.
All right. Spam Basubi or Chunko?
Spam.
I don't know. Henka, is it legitimate or cowardly?
Cowardly.
Now, who's the boss? The older senior senpai or the younger, higher ranked rikshi?
The higher ranked rikshi.
And do you think the judging of sumo is fair with the Gyoji and Shimpan all of the time, most of the time, or never, or not against foreigners?
Most of the time, the judge right.
Yep. Stop to get surgery or fight on?
Wow, that's a hard one, man. If you can't fight, like for me, my case, I fought on. Fight on, because by the time you get back, you won't make it.
Yeah. Bring back the Kosho Seido system for injuries or not?
Yeah, they gotta bring back help with the injuries, man.
Yeah.
You gotta at least not one tournament, but at least half a year. Change that to a longer span.
And not just for injuries that happen on the dohyo in front of everyone.
Yeah, because
most injuries happen.
They don't count anything during practice, and they don't count anything during your tours.
No. True.
Well, you hurt your coccyx from sitting on one of those little stools in the bathroom, didn't you?
That's what they wrote about, but that wasn't really what happened. I know what's funny.
Oh dear.
Really, my career.
It was with the gerbil, was it?
Yeah.
Now, the raised dohyo or join the flat dohyo society?
Raised dohyo.
Yeah. It's not something you think about when you go up. A lot of fans don't understand.
Well, that's what rolling is all about, John. You know the stuff that we throw you down and stuff? We teach you how to roll so you don't get hurt. Imagine you guys rock off the freaking ring, but you hardly see anybody get hurt
Wait,
when they're falling.
wait. You teach people how to roll? What, you would think this is a martial art or something?
Yeah.
No,
So the
I
thing
mean?
is to actually break a fall. They teach you how to break a falls and stuff. So that's what the rolling is all about.
Exactly. I'm making this joke for our listeners who are listening. You guys who are trying to start these petitions to get the dohyo made flat to the floor, go over yourselves. Right? Go over yourselves. These guys are martial artists. Sorry, on you go with your Harite, John. I do apologize.
Yeah, man.
Should they have strict promotion criteria, like certain number of wins or whatever feels good at the time to fill the spots?
They still have to stay with the numbers of the wins. I think it's a good way to motivate and help guys to actually fight for the top. Brings a real man out of the man.
I was reluctant to put in any names, but Asashoryu or Hakuho?
Hakuho.
Okay.
That's not what we thought you would say.
Well, the reason for that, I guess, the weight, the weight is helps the sumo, and then his size helps. So that's why Hakuho could last as long as he did, even with the injuries. The trouble with the same thing with Takanohana and Wakanohana, the sizes are different. So Wakanohana was good as he was badass. He had better technique than his brother Takanohana, but the weight didn't help. So if he was just 20% off, that 20% is enough to get pounded by a guy who's like 180 kilos, 200 kilos. So that's a disadvantage. That's the way I looked at it. Asashiro got technique and everything. Longevity, it's different, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep the next ones quick. I think you're in a hurry. The Hawaiian Sumo Tori, a one-off anomaly, or can the giants awaken?
Hawaiian Sumo Tori.
You think you're a one-off phenomenon?
I didn't understand your question.
Oh, what was your era with the Hawaiian Sumo Tori? Was that a one-off phenomenon, or do you think it can be revived?
Nah, it's a one time. All the Polynesians are getting into rugby and American football now. Get more paid, bro.
Yeah. Punishments for naughty rikishi, are they harsh or not harsh enough?
Too harsh, man.
Too harsh. Yeah.
I feel sorry for them.
Come back.
Yeah, with the stress they go through, man. Fuck. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's hard enough anyway.
Yeah.
Foreigners in sumo, should they keep the same limit, or should it be unlimited?
They have to open up. They need great foreigners to make sumo even take it to the next level. Because the better they are, the more guys gonna wake up and shit. They know they have to train harder to beat this bigger and stronger and faster foreigner. Wakanohana, Takanohana did a great job. What the hell?
Yeah. They did.
Just gotta bring the best out of the best in Japan. They need a lot of foreigners. I wish they would open up. A lot of guys don't even want to get foreigners anymore.
Nah. Oh, we've got plenty. Social media access for rikishi or not?
What's that?
Like social media access. At the moment, they're not allowed to get on Twitter and do silly things like a bit of bondage and some of them have shown their bollocks accidentally or.
Well, the thing is, you're dealing with the same age kids, but they're just in mawashis. So it's not a sumo problem. It's a generation problem, and before they come to sumo, they have to actually educate them about those things. That's normal to them. In fact, they know the phone better than their orikatas. They're probably teaching their orikata how to use the phones and apps and all that.
Well, they still use faxes.
To me, I think the Sumo Association itself have to spend money to actually make it a one one-stop sumo shop kind of thing. They have their own Facebook, they have their Twitter, and everybody's all over the place. If they do it by stables, they should not do it by stable, but do it as family stables, because they have 5 families in sumo. So if they're doing it in family, have professionals running their SNS stuff, would be even better, because they're promoting shit that you don't want to see anyway. Who gives a shit about what they eat every day? It's promoting more food than they're fucking training. I just comment on Twitter yesterday. I go, what the fuck are they trying to do, man? Where they going with whatever they're doing? Like, and what are sumo boys saying? Nah, Ozeki, you know, we need you to go be part of the association, kind of change this thing. That I wish I could, man. I'll flip that thing right away. Some people be so pissed off at me, they're gonna probably try to pick a fight, and then that's the last thing they're gonna see is they're gonna be knocked out before they even say anything to me. Make sure they get fired out of their own job.
With the foreign oyokata, do you think there's so many of them now, do you think they can make a difference, or are they fragmented too much via the Ichimon?
They can make a big difference they can make a big difference in their stables, but to the association, not too much a change. But the only problem at the beginning, if you're not consistent with scouting and doing the traditional Japanese part of the sumo part, like, you know, fan clubs and stuff like that, it's hard work, you know. Like, it's super hard work. And then the responsibility of doing it 365 days, 24 hours is a responsibility that you have to take. So as long as the foreigner know exactly what he's doing, I think what now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 now. I think the good thing about this foreigners is they really know how to train kids. The training techniques are different. Like Musashi Maru's playing, I know Hakuho is going to train these kids really good, because he trained a lot, you know, and all the other guys, I think they'll be good trainers, but the traditions that come with it, I think there might be some of the problems that they're going to have to deal with. So the Okami-san's going to have to do a lot of work behind him. That's why it's going to kind of cause some friction where she doesn't agree with some of the things the association says. So then that's where they're going to start butting heads slowly but surely, and see how much they can actually solve their problems before it gets to a point where it goes berserk, you know.
Women on the dohyo or not?
It's tradition, brother. Keep it tradition.
Yep.
No.
And the last one, I'll let Scott ask it. It's a special question for you.
Haggis or Konishiki's barbecue?
Konishiki's barbecue, brother.
I agree. Haggis is stinking.
Maybe you need a haggis sauce.
I can promise you two guys that when I cook for you guys barbecue, it's probably something you're gonna love, man. In fact, I have a group of 70 people I gotta cook for Saturday here.
Your barbecue is on my
pandemic,
list.
You know, pandemic stopped me from doing anything because I entertain, right? So that was out of it. I do a lot of speaking occasions. I speak speaking appearances for corporates. That was taken away. So I created my barbecue sauce right before the pandemic. And when I was supposed to let it go in 2020, all hell break loose. We couldn't do nothing. So in Japan, we were, they asked people to stay home. So, Japan, nothing is forced upon you, but everybody listens. This country is unreal. They still wearing masks today. Everybody's still outside wearing masks. You don't see nobody walking with no mask on. Well, anyway, I told my wife, well, that's just, I cannot be sitting around too much, I'm getting too frustrated, getting too I'm itching to get out of here and stuff. Yeah, I just lost my dad too, so I didn't want the time to really think about what happened. He just passed, like, that a few months before I came back to Hawaii. Came back to Japan. So I thought, once this thing is kind of cooled down, we're going on the road. I made 47 stops. I sold my barbecue sauce on my own, and I sold like 12,000 pieces.
Wow.
We did 6 months. I think
I'm going to have to order a case.
Right. Oh, I'm definitely.
It's marinade. It's marinade stuff, and then you can actually twist it with adding your favorite Tabasco or whatever and give them a kick and stuff. So, but that's what happened. I just turned on and they started my brand, my Sumo brand, my SP52 Sumo brand Koni. So, just to stay active, stay motivated, never stops. And they studied the internet about what the hell is Sumo. They were looking into Instagram. Man, all these Sumo clubs, where they're coming from, And then I used to watch a lot of the European tournaments and stuff, and I was amazed how organized they were. The Russians, they got it really down, man. Real clean.
Yeah, they get special money. And the guys organizing it, it gives them license to get in and out.
But the good thing about it, keep it nice and clean. Everybody has it really, even the way they put their tournaments together is really well organized. So hopefully we can get it to that level.
Absolutely. Well, Konishiki, that brings us to the end of our episode and it's wrap-up time. Now, I just want to take a wee minute to thank you so much for taking the time out your day to join us and sharing and imparting all your sumo knowledge with us, brother. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate the time, bro. So, it's always good to talk to people that make sense so they can actually help share my...
hopefully,
we get it.
Sorry,
we get a quick impersonation. Can we get one of your quick impersonations before you go?
It's Nisajimoto. Kintamayama.
Aye.
Well, all I remember is まもなく2番線に電車が参ります。白線の内側までお下がりください。次は高田馬場です。高田馬場。
Oh, you've been catching too much trains, brother. I don't get trains.
Yeah, I know. I knew you'd.
But anyway,
I have to catch trains in Tokyo.
With every castle, you need the warriors, man. And you guys just part of the warrior team that we have to. If anything come about, like I said, we can develop something really well with just the help of, just a small group of people. We don't need a whole bunch of guys.
Well,
just the research which John you're good at, and you in one part of the world, and Scott is one part of the world. If we just put it down where we can actually develop some, but that's one of my goals is if Sumo Association are giving opportunity to these foreigners, I'm willing to actually create something in this reality show. Sit in the talks, and that's a good way to basically develop our talent from all over, from all over the world. They have to come here and actually live here for like 3 months and train, and actually do exhibitions in the stairway itself, where people come. Because even I get asked all the time to do stuff for VIPs and stuff, but it's now not even allowed to go to sumo stables anymore. So I'm putting together shows for like some the PGA tour coming in a couple of weeks and stuff. I've been asked to do something with the NBA that's coming next week, but I tried, try to talk to the association, but I guess people call me for get celebrities into sumo because the association doesn't do that. I just got a call actually the Osaka Naomi, the tennis player, the girl was here and wanted to find a way to go to sumo. I thought, let me know when, but the sumo tickets are not easy. If you want it like tomorrow, shit, it's not like I run a ticket booth. I can get it, but you got to give me time.
Well, me and John are always all ears and eager to help no matter what we can do to further the sport in the correct way and help out. We are always more than happy to do, honestly. So anytime, reach out to us. And hopefully this isn't the last time that we get to sit down and speak with you either. But I want to thank you again, Konishiki, for joining us. Thank you to my co-host, John, as always. Thank you to you guys for listening. And Sumo fans, remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Oh, Watanage.
Hit that bell. Watanage. Yeah, baby. Watanage.